Andretti. John Andretti.
Very excited, is he? John Andretti wins the very first ever Indy.
John Andretti.
John Andretti died after a strong fight against cancer.
Well, 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 where to go? So many great stories. I'm not quite, no, this one right here is where we're gonna go today. It's the Truman Show. Today, we're gonna learn about the USS Truman. This is an aircraft carrier. It's a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier. It's huge. If you've never seen one, it's quite the sight to behold. The best time to see them is in the morning when that mist is coming off the ocean. This thing's almost 1,200 feet long and it's almost 250 feet wide. This is 4.5 acres of sovereign American landing area anywhere in the world. It has over 90 aircraft. If you're being a bad person to your people, you're not doing the right thing, and you wake up in the morning and you see the Truman off your coast, it's probably going to be a bad day. Probably don't want to get involved with that thing. There's over 5,000 people on board once the air wing is done. And today's story is going to be about the Truman. But it starts off at our headquarters in Bahrain at the 5th Fleet. Every once in a while, you get these VIPs that come in. And when you get a VIP, you have to assign somebody on the staff to that person to make sure that wherever you take them, there aren't going to be any screw-ups, everything's going to go perfect, and the television personality or the athlete is going to have a really good time because they want to come over and tell the troops thank you. That's what they want to do. We had Tiger Woods out there. He hit golf balls off of an aircraft carrier. It was really, really cool. It's good for them and it's good for the sailors. They really enjoy it because they've been gone from home for 5 months. So one day we're sitting in a meeting. The admiral wasn't there, but the chief of staff was there, and he says, "All right, I need you 4 or 5 people to stick around. We got some VIPs coming in. We got some celebrities, and we need to get some people to shepherd them around, take care of them, make sure they have a good time." So he goes, "Okay, first up we got John Elway," and this captain, you know, he's all over it. He goes, "Oh, well, I'll take John Elway. I'm from Denver." Okay, that fits. and so the chief of staff goes, "What are you going to do with him?" He goes, "Well, I guess he'll bring a bunch of footballs and we'll like sign the footballs and throw them to the sailors and have them go talk to, you know, some groups here and there. They'll love it." I'm thinking, okay, cool. And then he goes, "Okay, well, we got another one. We got Robin Williams." And this other captain, "Hey, I'll take Robin Williams. I like that guy. He's funny." And the chief of staff goes, "Well, what are you going to do with him? What are you going to do?" He goes, "Well, we'll set up a big stage inside the gym and we'll invite everybody from the whole command to come watch the show. And then he can sign autographs and it'll be great." So I'm sitting there and he goes, "Okay, well, we got one more. John Andretti." And everybody's kind of looking around. And I'm thinking, well, I never heard of John Andretti either, but I've heard of Andretti. I said, "I'll take John Andretti." He's like, "Okay, where are you going to take him?" I said, "I'll take him out to the aircraft carrier." It was the greatest. He goes, "The Truman?" I said, "Yeah, my buddy's the command master chief of the Truman, Frenchy Fry." His real name is Clarence, but we call him Frenchy. Most people call him Master Chief. But I said, "I'll send Frenchy a note, and when John gets here, he's going to have the best time ever." So about 2 days later, John landed. My driver and I went and got him. We got him all set up in the hotel. And I said, "Hey, you want to go to dinner?" He goes, "Yeah, let's go to dinner. Let me tell you about this guy. This is one of the nicest guys I ever met in my life. Very humble, unpretentious. I mean, right away, he's genuine. He's a genuine guy. I just tell you, I fell in love with the guy right off the bat. I'm thinking, I'm going to make this guy, this is going to be the trip of his lifetime. He's never going to forget this trip." So we went to dinner and we're talking about his life. And he's been a race car driver forever. He's raced all kinds of cars. Here's the connection. Mario Andretti has a brother named Aldo. And guess what? Mario and Aldo are twins. Mario has 2 sons and a daughter, and Aldo has 2 sons, and one of the sons is John. Now, when you hear the name Andretti, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out this is NASCAR, Formula One, whatever they do, royalty. Mario was the best ever to do it, and it has trickled down to all the members in the family pretty much. So he told me what he did, and I was listening to it, and I was very interested because he said he was very important to a lot of people. It was really important that he did the best he could on those races. And John did a pretty cool thing too. He had a go-kart race. He started this go-kart race in 1997 for the local children's hospital. And it was a fundraiser. Can you imagine racing a go-kart against John Andretti? I'd love to do it, but I'd probably get lapped. But it made a lot of money. It made over $5 million when we were talking. So he was doing good on that thing. He had, that hospital held a special place in John's heart too. He would visit those kids. He would visit. Now, he just didn't run in, take a picture, get the publicity shot. He went in and he actually talked to those really sick kids. It's a lot like St. Jude's. Now, let me tell you, before we come out there, that whole aircraft carrier has figured out where he's going to be, when he's going to be there, what he gets to do, who he gets to meet. I mean, it's all lockstep, and they do a beautiful job. You just don't land and start walking around, you know, just not how it works. Too big. But we land, first thing we do, we go see the captain of the ship, and the captain gives John, he gives him a hat from the Truman, a cover, and on the back it says Andretti, and he tells John, John, you're the captain for the day. John is the CO of the USS Truman for a day. He was great. They got him here, they got him there. But I grabbed the microphone and I said, hey Truman, this is Fleet Master Chief Chapman. I got a surprise for you today. I brought a special guest. I got John Andretti on board, and he will be down in the crew's mess signing autographs. And I thought to myself, I hope these people know of him. I'm thinking, darn, you know, they got to know the name Andretti at least, you know. So I remember I going down in the mess decks, I'm going, oh boy, I hope there's a bunch of people who want to see. There was 1,000 people in line, 1,000 sailors in line. A lot of them, he even had his race car. They actually had his race car and some other game or something that he had out. And I was so happy because he's smiling, he's signing the cards. We just had a great, great day. Well, it was time for us to hit the rack, and they showed us to our rooms. I did not know these rooms existed. There's rooms on these aircraft carriers for VIPs or celebrities or, heck, I don't know, Secretary of the Navy probably stays in these rooms. They're like the Holiday Inn. It's like a brand new Holiday Inn room. It's got carpet and a bedspread, and it's got a double bed and a walk-in shower. Now, this isn't how it is on ships. You got a little bunk like this, you know, little pillows, you know. These were nice, and they had a closet. And guess what? Inside the closet, there was a robe, and it said Truman on it. Oh, beautiful robes. So we hit the rack, we go to sleep. About 4 in the morning, I'm kind of an early riser, and I wanted to get up and see what's going on. I like walking around the ship in the middle of the morning time, see what's going on. Because the ship's working all the time. It's 24/7, 365. Something's going on. Well, I ended up down in the galley. Yeah, where they serve the food to the crew. And I'm looking across the way and I see these 5 sailors. They're at these 2 tables. They got these big bins like busboys carry, and they got a big sack of salt, and they got another little sack of rice, and they got these bottle brushes and these blow dryers, and I'm like, what is going on? So I went over there, and the one guy, he's the 3rd class, so I figured that guy's in charge because nobody else has anything on their sleeves. And these guys are all like 18, 19. I said, what are you doing? He goes, Master Chief, we are in charge of every salt shaker on board this aircraft carrier. I'm like, whoa. He goes, when that pilot grabs that salt shaker and goes like that, he can rest assured the correct amount of salt is going to come out. It's going to have the 9 grains of rice in there to keep the moisture out. The lid's not going to come off. It's not going to be sticky and ugly, and he can go do his mission. And I was like, oh, this is great. These are 18-year-old kids taking that kind of pride in a salt shaker? Let me tell you, that tells me from Frenchy Fry and the commanding officer down to that 18-year-old kid, leadership is working on board. I congratulate them. You know, it almost brings a tear to my eye now thinking about it. But I shook all their hands and I gave them my personal coin. And they were all happy. And then the one guy looks at me, he goes, guess what, Master Chief? I said, what? It even gets better. I said, what? He said, today they gave us pepper. That's the best. That is the best. Well, we got back to Bahrain and John flew away and we kept in touch. We emailed each other once in a while. And you know, nothing big because he's a busy man. Once in a while I send him a little note. But ever since that time that he came out and saw me, I get a Christmas card from John Andretti every year. And every year the Christmas card was just the 3 kids. So every year they would grow up a little bit more. I still get the Christmas card to this day. John was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2017. And he was sad, and he was really kind of upset with himself because he didn't get checked earlier. And he probably would have had a better survival rate. He initially was stage 3 colon cancer, and they removed 14 inches of his colon. But a few months later, he was in pain. He went to the hospital, stage 4 colon cancer. John fought it for a long time, but it finally won. It took him over, and he died January 30th of 2020, and he was buried February 6th of 2020. They did something really lovely for John. They put him in a hearse, and they drove around the Indianapolis 500 Speedway. It really did bother him a lot that he didn't get checked earlier, and he went on a campaign between 2017 and 2020 to get people checked. Get in there, get your colonoscopy done. It's not that big of a deal. I remember when I was 40, my father called me up. He said, I went in and had my first colonoscopy, and I'm 60. I said, oh yeah, how was it? He said, well, they found a lot of polyps, and they said I should tell you to go get checked. And I thought, okay, I mean, I don't know when you start doing them anyway. Come to find out, you should start them no later than 50, and 40 is probably not a good time, not a bad time to do it. So I got a hold of my Navy doctor. I said, my dad told me this. I think I need a colonoscopy. Oh yes, Master Chief, you need a colonoscopy. I'm like, okay. Well, back in those days, you drank this stuff that was horrible, but it worked, let me tell you. It's a lot better today. Just take some pills. It's pretty seamless. My first one, I went to the Navy hospital, and the Navy doctor goes, okay, Master Chief, you're all ready to go for your colonoscopy. Now you can either watch it on TV, or we can put you out. And I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, I'll watch it on TV. Might be interesting. He goes, okay, well, do you mind if we have some young corpsmen come in here and watch the procedure? Because, you know, it's see one, do one, teach one. I'm like, no, I don't mind. So he opens the door, and here come about 10, 18-year-old young sailors with their clipboards and their scrubs on. And I'm like, I look at him and I go, I look at them, and I look at him and I go, put me out.